Vehicle Voltron's luck as a toy fared markedly better than its turn on the TV screen. In 1984, early on in the Voltron merchandising blitz, the Matchbox die-cast combiners were numbered, and Vehicle Voltron was literally number 1.
We gotta get back to the past, to the 20th century. Digging through the bubble wrap into your memories. Back was the collector, he's protecting what we find. Relentless heavy metal guns keep us safe through time. RetroBlasting.
This is not a toy.
Just the corners of your mind. RetroBlasting. The stuff you love since you were 9. We're blasting into the past to see what thrill still lasts. RetroBlasting.
Kids not quite familiar with the show and parents that just didn't know the difference often picked up Vehicle Voltron in place of the lions, and this usually resulted in a disappointed kid who was expecting robotic cats. But there were always a few kids out there who preferred Vehicle Voltron. Just as Matchbox's Lion Force Voltron was an imported version of Popey's Beast King Go Lion from Japan, the Vehicle Force version was originally a Popey Die Rugger 15. If you were going for shock and awe in your toys, Vehicle Voltron was a slam dunk. The toy was 15 individual vehicles and stood a whopping 15 inches tall, towering over Lion Force Voltron. Beyond combining into the robot, Vehicle Voltron could also combine into the 3 exploration subgroups: land, sea, and air. But as I said in the previous video, the aesthetics of many of the individual vehicles are underwhelming. Lots of rectangles when it's not in robot mode. A few of them have wind-up wheels, but it's little consolation. Due to child safety regulations, Popey's Beast King Go Lion was declawed of all its weapons before Matchbox sold it as Lion Force Voltron. No sword, no missiles, nothing. Die Rugger was similarly stripped, but there wasn't nearly as much to lose. Where the individual Voltron lions had a varied arsenal of rockets, blades, and projectiles, the separate Voltron vehicles just sprayed laser blasts everywhere. All of the weapons were reserved solely for the combined Die Rugger. He had a whip, throwing daggers, spinning blades, and the sword, amongst others. However, the Popey Die Rugger 15 only included the sword. When Matchbox came along to import Die Rugger, they deleted the sword, the decal sheet, and the tiny chromed antennas for the submarine vehicles that were likely deemed choking hazards. So if you're looking for the far scarcer Popey Die Rugger, you'll find those pesky antennas are often missing. To add insult to injury for Matchbox's Vehicle Voltron, consumer demand for the Lion Force sword prompted Matchbox to release the Popey sword and shield separately on an accompanying card back. Vehicle Voltron's sword wasn't given the same courtesy, so the only way to acquire the Die Rugger sword is to either buy an original Popey or one of the many bootleg Die Ruggers that have been made in the years since. Another aspect of Die Rugger that sets it apart from other Popey Deluxes is the distinct lack of die-cast metal. Where most Popey DXs are called Chogokins, which in Japanese means super alloy, Die Rugger can't boast that title. Because of the complexity of the design and the 15 interlocking pieces, he is completely plastic. There are some strange elements on the final design of this robot. The wheels on the back of his head, the flip caps that stick out of the back of his knees, the feet that slip off their mounts constantly. All of the plastic connecting joints and pins are really finicky, and for most kids they ended up snapping, rendering Voltron a pile of junk. The chest jet is the worst offender. Held on by 2 hinged clips, the only way to get it off the chest is to manhandle it and pray the clips don't crack or snap off. If I hadn't made this video, I wouldn't have ever attached this thing to him in the first place.
Come on! I swear to God. Is there a certain amount of money that I can give you to just disassemble?
All I'm asking is for you to just let go. Just let go. I mean, is that so hard? I'll get you a date with RC. I swear. Vehicle Voltron also doesn't move. Aside from his elbows and his shoulder joints, he just stands there. Where the Lion Voltron had hips, knees, shoulders, and elbow joints, Vehicle Voltron is just a creaky plastic statue. Matchbox also imported the smaller Popey die rugger, just as they did for Golion. LJN would give us a simplistic rubber combiner miniature in 1985, also adapted from a die rugger product. Vehicle Voltron also had a battle riser from LJN, similar to the Lion version, and there was also a 3D puzzle of Vehicle Voltron that's now hard to come by. The greatest disappointment is Vehicle Voltron's almost inclusion into Panache Place's excellent Voltron action figure series. Rare photographs reveal prototypes for characters and vehicles from Vehicle Voltron that would have been part of a 1986 wave of Panache Place Voltron toys. Jeff, Cliff, Crick, Throck, and Hazar would have been part of the figure series, as well as a Galaxy Garrison fighter. Unfortunately, Panache Place ran into financial difficulties, and these photos are all that remain. Panache Place was on the verge of making a transforming Robeast, the Castle of Doom, and more figures from Lion Force as well. The line was on the cusp of becoming a Star Wars scale series of toys. Our friend Gregory Tyler is such a huge Vehicle Voltron fan, he decided to complete the Panache Place line on his own. Working with action figure customizer POC63, he went beyond Panache's aspirations and created all 3 Voltron crews, as well as some key drools and Hawkins and Newley. Thanks to his skills with 3D modeling, Greg's also taken great pains in his spare time to engineer his own Panache Place style Vehicle Voltron that will house all 15 action figure pilots and disassemble into the 3 vehicle teams. Greg said that for him, Lion and Vehicle Voltron are part of a larger universe, not 2 different television shows, and his collection would not be complete without the Die Rugger crew in it. The intervening decades for Vehicle Voltron have been equally unlucky. Toynami made honest efforts in the mid-2000s with a vinyl miniature and a large Jumbo Machinder-inspired Die Rugger. Then in 2013, Miracle Metalworks came along and produced an almost official Vehicle Voltron. Yeah, almost official. Legally, it's a bootleg, but it almost wasn't. Miracle was talking with World Events Productions to produce this die-cast masterpiece-style Vehicle Voltron. Unfortunately, the development and engineering side of things dragged on for years. Mattel came along and signed a deal with World Events to create Voltron products, resulting in the Matty Collector Classic Voltron set. In a moment of cosmic bad timing, Miracle resurfaced, saying they were ready to proceed, but by then it was too late. Even if WEP hadn't been with Mattel, there still needed to be quality control reviews to ensure a decent product. Miracle moved forward anyway. What you get is, at a glance, a beautiful die-cast die rugger with amazing articulation and impressive engineering. You get his entire arsenal of weapons, multiple sets of hands to grip the different armaments, and 3 swords. But you also pay more than $200 for a figure that isn't ready to go out of the box. The paint finishing on the toy is dicey in places, the hands always pop off in most poses, and the chest jet is held on by a very weak magnet. I found myself disassembling some of these vehicles with a screwdriver minutes after opening it to repair or adjust pieces so that it would go together correctly. I even had to remove the helicopter blades from the shoulders so it would display accurately. At one point, I had an X-Acto knife out so I could cut larger holes in the arms so the spring latches would function properly. It could be argued that the good outweighs the bad with the Miracle Bot, but it can't be called an official product at this point. Instead, it bears the dubious distinction of being the nicest bootleg at the top of a mountain of Die Rugger bootlegs that continue to pop up to this day. Toynami has expressed interest in tackling an official masterpiece-style Vehicle Voltron, and maybe one day Bandai will be given a crack at it as well. Let's hope that day comes.
Is that true?
I can't, I'm leaning over.
I know, but...
These ceiling
tiles are craptastic.